Adam Lerner, BrooklynPhotoworks.com, and today I want to welcome you guys to a new series that I'm doing on basic flash photography. And in today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about the basics of getting to know your flash. So what I have here is I've got three basic flashes in front of me. I've got the LumiPro LP160. The reason why I really like this flash is because it is a solid performer and it is incredibly basic and it's fully manual. It literally has two different setting modules, one for power, one for zoom. I've also got my good old SB800, Nikon SB800. I was formerly a Nikon shooter, now I'm a Canon shooter. I also shoot Fuji, I shoot Mamiya Leaf, I shoot a bunch of different brands, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I had a bunch of Nikon flashes from back in the day. I've actually got three of these SB800s, and these things are incredible. It's like, these are like the SUV flashes because they're incredibly powerful and reliable, and you can't kill these things, and they work fantastic. And then I've also got with me here the Cactus RF60. And this is a very cool flash because it's kind of like a bargain flash if you want to compare it to like a new Canon EF600 or 610, whatever it is. It's incredibly capable, and it's also got the wireless functionality, the radio functionality built in, which is really neat because you don't need to have a separate wireless transmitter with one of these things because it's built in here. So you've got something that's incredibly basic, you've got something that's incredibly robust, and then you've got something that's robust and also has the wireless capability. So let's get to know our flashes really quickly, and I'll start with the LumiPro LP160. We've got two different modes on here. We've got power and we've got zoom. The power on here can be adjusted in 1/2 stop increments. So that means you can go from full power down to a 64th power, and you can change the power in half stops. So that gives you some degree of latitude, but it's not really a lot of fine tuning. Whereas with the LumiPro, I think you can do it in like 1/10 or 1/3 increments. I don't know. You've got a lot more power in here. I will research that and put that in the notes. Same thing with the Nikon. You've also got 1/3 increments, and you can go down to 1/128th power as you can do with this thing as well. But the thing I like about this is that there's no menus to get involved with here. There's no systems that you have to really get to know. It's all right there on the flash. This one is a little bit more complicated because not only do you have an LCD screen, but you've got a lot of different dials on here. You've got a lot of different modes. But this I would say would be a little bit more advanced to use. And the same thing for this guy. I mean, you can just use this as a basic flash, but you can also really drill in and get into a lot of different menus in there and change a lot of things. Now, all of these flashes have a PC sync port, which means that you can actually use a cable that goes from a camera to your flash, and you can trigger it that way. All of these flashes have an optical port over here, which means that you can optically sync, or using light, you can put these in slave mode, and if one thing fires, like a flash that's built onto your camera or another external flash, that will actually trigger these things. And unlike these two guys, this one has a built-in radio so that if you're using a transmitter, another Cactus transmitter that's mounted to your camera or somewhere else, you can actually via radio wirelessly trigger this thing without having to use another device, which makes it very, very cool. All three of these flashes also have the capability for zooming. So that means that the flash head can zoom from 24 millimeters to, I think, 105 on this guy. I think this guy goes to maybe 200, and I think this one goes to 200, whatever. Anyway, it just changes the spread of the flash head by moving the lens so that it goes from a 24 millimeter or wide spread with the lens all the way down to its, to 105 or 200, whatever it is, to a much tighter spread or less of a spread with the amount of flash that's coming out there. What else can I tell you about these guys? They're all good flashes, and they all will do the job, and you can all put them in a very basic mode. But what you really need to do is you need to understand your flash and understand how to operate it manually before you get into using it in a mode where you're letting the camera do all the heavy lifting, because That's the best way to really understand, because that way you understand the nuances of changing the power just a slight increment, about changing the zoom just a slight bit, for different kinds of effects and for different kinds of lighting techniques. So there you go, guys. That is getting to know your flash, very basics, lighting 101 kind of stuff. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and we'll see you soon. If you guys are looking to learn more about flash photography, check out the Fronos Photo Beginner Flash Guide. This is an awesome 3+ hour video guide where we start at the very beginning. We take you through the fundamentals of flash photography and show you every step of the way. Then we take you along for live photo shoots and we show you all of our settings and the mentality that we use to get behind the photos. It's awesome. So again, check out fronosphoto.com/flashguide to learn a lot more.